Hello. So everybody, or at least some people, they are talking about Substack and all the advantages about Substack because we know that the whole social media, I wouldn't say that he's dead like most of people, but they're a little bit weaker and thinner. So today I brought Jim Fuse to discuss about this new platform called Substack, the features, advantages, how you can take advantage of it. So we will talk a lot about Substack. Stay there if you want to learn about the most amazing content platform in the universe right now. Hello, everybody. Marco over here, the special marketing live show. I think, yeah, it's properly written. Host. And today we will be talking about Substack, about these amazing tools. So I'm pretty sure that we are live, hopefully, on Substack as well. that would be nice. And by the way, if you are watching us on Substack, feel free to subscribe. If you are watching us on LinkedIn, feel free to go to Substack. I believe it's mfcnovo.substack.com or something. I will put the link in the video description soon. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. You have some tools in the video description if you want to try and become a better content creator, because some of them, they are amazing tools. Most of the links, they are affiliate, which means that I will get a small commission if you buy from there, but they won't be more expensive to you because some of them, they even have nice discounts. Like for instance, EVMux, which is the tool that I'm using right now to do this broadcast. And now I think, okay, I'm taking a look at the basement. Jim is finishing the cookie. Just let me try to do something here because sometimes okay. I need to understand where the things are because okay, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, and now directly from Georgia. The amazing, the incredible, the unbelievable Jim Fuse.
Oh, that was
One
good.
of the things that I'm missing, it's the curtains. I need to bring the curtains as
Bring the
well.
curtains, yes.
Yeah, hopefully I need, but the thing is, right now the budget doesn't allow me to bring another employee to the studio, to my theater. So probably we have to wait. Jim, thank you so much for joining me again. It's a pleasure to have you here again, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be inviting you. Not that crazy.
Yes.
If you
No,
don't mind to introduce yourself and then we can start the conversation about Substack. And by the way, for those of you watching us, feel free to put your questions to ask because this is something that you should be interested in. Jim.
yes. Well, Marco, first, great to be here. Jim Fuse, company is Fusion Marketing. I am a digital marketing consultant, remote live stream producer, and one of the things I'm really focused on too, I'm a co-host of show Dealcasters, which we have actually now have on Substack as well as all the other tubes, just like you do, Marco, with your show, the Marcoding Live show. And yeah, I retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel and got into marketing probably about 9 years ago. I decided to switch into this from what I used to do. So it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoy how all these things keep giving us a reason to learn, a reason to wake up every day excited. I love the fact that you're using EV Mux. We were kind of talking before the show, right? It's like there's not just one size fits all. You got a lot of options when it comes to live streaming, and so I think it's good to be platform agnostic, and good to see our friend Chris Stone has joined over on Substack and with the deal
Hello.
casters. So he's I think he's actually starting to like it some, and we actually have a show later today, so it'll be fun.
Okay, awesome. And the thing is, today we will talk about Substack. And the thing is, maybe Jim, instead of talking right away about Substack, is why the other, how can I say, platforms, they are not so exciting, so interesting by these days.
I think the biggest thing is like I mean, I guess the one I'll pick on the most, which is in the center bottom of your screen there, is Facebook. Facebook really seems like, from a live streamer's perspective, they don't really want us there, or they're making it more difficult for us to be there. Uh, several months ago, they stopped the ability for you to use their APIs so that you could, share comments to screen and things of that nature. People that had Facebook groups that were reliant on, third-party streaming tools to engage with their community were really like kind of left at a loss. Like, what, I got to figure out how to do it in Facebook, and a lot of them are not uh, tech savvy, and so I think they struggled. And then I think it's what within the last 60, 90 days, they decided, and I kind of get it, but it was like, we're deleting all your lives that are more than 30 days old, and we're going to give you, I think it's about 90 days to 6 months to download all your old stuff. And so from that perspective, I'm like, well, why would I want to do that? And that puts a lot of extra work on our part when we can do that on, YouTube. And even when I look at Facebook, historically, the way they handled our videos, whether it was a business page or personal, was not intuitive. Like, if you had a show, it's like, wait, where did Marco's show go? It wasn't like it was easy to find. And so, even though they probably helped a lot of people, myself included, really get going with live video, I just don't feel like they're our friend anymore. And I think it's right. It's not only the algorithms that make it tough sometimes, but also just the climate on some of these platforms is not conducive to your business in some cases. If you're a live streaming, business, and so I think you have to kind of figure out, like, well, where can I build my community? And I think that's what I look at when I look at these different platforms as well.
Absolutely, yes. And the thing is, as you mentioned, that and I believe it remains a thing, the algorithms, because I don't know how they work. Even though some people, they pretend to, oh, I broke down the algorithm, I know how it works. And the thing is, this reminds me about a post. I saw this post, I don't know, maybe 3 4 years ago, and it was how you can increase the engage in your Instagram posts. And there was no engagement on that post. So I thought, okay, maybe something is missing here.
Right. Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, Chris likes to always say, like, when you talk about whether it's LinkedIn experts or Amazon experts, the only people that are experts are the people that work for those companies. Because somebody that's telling, like, oh, I've figured out the algorithm and we're going to help you go viral is, I'm not going to waste my time listening to them, because I know it's not true. And it's part of it. It's a lot of hard work to get that exposure, and then sometimes even with your hard work, it doesn't always work out the way you'd like it to.
Absolutely. And we have deal casters here on in the live chat on Substack. How ironic that Facebook is not our friend. But you mentioned something, Jim, and as I think we talked about this in backstages about how things should work, and we both agree that this is a business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And we see often people talking about going viral. And I don't see the point as a business that going viral could be good, because yes, they could like our videos, or can go viral because we are wearing pants in the hand, or because we are dancing in a funny way or stupid way or whatever. But we have a business, and I don't think, at least I'm not, my business is not comedy or a circus. So what are your thoughts about this fever about going viral thing?
Yeah, I'm with you, Marco. I don't really see uh, the desire for that. I mean, in one aspect, if you're not careful, I mean, I guess I could compare it to the people that go on Shark Tank, that all of a sudden they get a deal and then all of a sudden their website crashes, they can't fulfill orders. And so I think that's kind of the whole thing too. Like, depending on what you're going viral for, is your business going to be able to handle it, or is it actually going to, create a situation that you didn't want to begin with? And so I think those are some of the things you have to think about when, what is viral, and even to the perspective of, does viral pay the bills? I mean, sure, you might get a ton of views, but what does that really mean? Oh, I had 10,000 views on my video. Well, how many people bought something from you or set an appointment with you, or did, to your point, they just thought it was, oh, that was funny, that was entertaining, and then that's about it. That's what it did for you. So I don't necessarily, uh, personally, I know there's people that aren't going to agree with us, but that's okay. That's fine. I just don't see that that's something that I think of when I create a piece of content. I want it to have long lasting value. And if somebody comes back to it, you know, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, it still makes sense and is going to add value to somebody on their, business journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would include this in the same, how can I say, box as the thing that dictator that your videos should be short, and because people will just watch 10 seconds or whatever. Okay, probably most of my content they will watch just 5 seconds, whatever. But I don't believe, and we can start introducing this, because Substack has the whole package. Like, you can have long form videos, you can have, well, you can have long form content and short form content, which is awesome. But the thing is, we can rely just on metrics, because metrics sometimes they could be tricky, pretty tricky. For instance, I don't. I think it was yesterday having a conversation with Peter, but also my last podcast episode. I mentioned that the problem with metrics is that, and if you don't have metrics, like for instance, I started live streaming in 2015. None, zero, nada metrics about live streaming, but I had that gut feeling that this could be the thing. So we should be really aware, and I'm pretty sure that, because we agree with lots of things about our journey, about as content creators, live streamers. What would you say to someone that thinks that the content thing only works with short form content?
I would disagree with them, because I think when you consider how many people watch, we'll call them shows on, streaming platforms. I guess maybe technically they still watch them on networks. So people are willing to give 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to something that they find valuable. Now, sure, sometimes that's entertaining, but people watch the news. People, will watch things that teach them how to do something, that educate them. And you can't always educate somebody in, 180 seconds or less, going with the 3 minutes that seems to be the new end result of shorts. Now, I think you can take that short stuff as kind of like, hey, here's a nugget from the longer form content. But if you want the, kind of the rest of the story, then you want to go watch that longer form content. And so I think that's, unfortunately, I guess maybe you could say this short form stuff is more. And I'm not trying to say that all the younger generation is like it. It's this short attention span, this not wanting to critically think. That people
Mhm.
just want something quick and they don't really want to like have conversation, have engagement like we're having, right?
Mhm.
We couldn't do this in 60 seconds, right? I
It
mean,
should be ended
what would be the
about
point,
16 times at least.
It's like, who's gonna talk? You gonna talk or am I gonna talk? And so I think that's part of the problem that people aren't considering when they do these things.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and I had this reflection the other day because as content creator, advisors, consultant, trainer, whatever, we tend to say your content should be entertaining, blah blah blah, educational but entertaining. But the thing is, and this made me think, and sometimes we need to watch the things in another perspective. And the funniest thing about this moment is was that it was a comedian talking about this, and he was saying, "Why the heck should all the content be entertaining? We should have also critical thinking because we should not watch a video or listen to a podcast just because it doesn't sound entertaining, even though the meat is there."
Hmm.
And the thing, because this thing about thinking that our content should be entertaining all the time, this will lead us to like there's I've read a book that he called this the seeking for the weapons. Like we need to increase every day the entertainment in a video. Where this will stop?
Right. Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And sometimes I'm pretty sure that you have this kind of teacher as well. I had them. Those teachers, they were boring, but we ended the class and we realized he or she knows a lot about the topic. I
Hmm.
had a teacher. She was a European law teacher, and we had 2 hour classes with her, and she was talking the whole time. Boom, one side another. It was she was like she was in the swimming pool, swimming from one side to another. But the thing is, she knew everything, and we were listening. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things I've always found interesting, right? Going into classes or uh, I always like the teachers, and even in myself as a college professor, I always wanted to have engagement with my students. So I purposely made sure that I wasn't just lecturing, right? It was kind of like you bring up a point and then you say, "Well, Marco, what do you think of that?" And now one, they got to pay attention because they might get called on, right? Because if you're just droning on about the topic, that can get people to be bored. But I think the other thing that you have to consider that I think happens, and I got this feedback once as a teaching a course, and it really made me think about the approaches. You get so good at stuff sometimes that you forget that this is the first time that someone has seen you. Right now, this could be the first time that people have watched either one of us. So you got to bring the energy, you've got to bring your professionalism, and you have to think of it as I may not get another opportunity, so I got to put my best foot forward. And so I think sometimes what happens with someone that is, if you want to call it really an expert, is they know it so well that they forget, like, well, maybe these people don't understand those things as well. And I need to put myself in their shoes. And I think if you do that, and take that feedback. Like if you've got, I'm sure that teacher was probably getting feedback like these lectures are really, long or whatever. I don't know. Maybe people were afraid to say because they had to sign their name. But but she could have probably come up with a different way to present the material that would have been, more engaging and actually allowed for more interaction, critical thinking. Because I've been in those classes before too, where it's just like, it kind of reminds you of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. When the guy is talking about the Smoot Hawley, and all the kids are drooling when he's talking about tariffs. Well, unfortunately, I wish some people had listened to that, because now we're dealing with that. But that's enough of that. But I think those are some of the things that you have to consider when you're doing video. And so I think, as an example, I think you are similar to me and Chris. Is like, even though you don't have a co-host, you like to have a guest. Can you do a solo episode of Mark Coding Live? Absolutely. But I bet to me, it's kind of weird to just be like, you're the only one talking, right? Where's the conversation? Where's the engagement? Where's that secondary point of view sometimes? Sometimes the people are in agreement, sometimes they're not, and that's okay. As long as we respect each other, I think, you can definitely make conversation exciting and entertaining without intentionally looking like, oh, we're going out there to be entertaining, sort of a thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's just one thing about having guests, or, well, with co-hosts, it's different, but relying just in guests had this. I felt I felt myself as seen as the guy who does interviews, not as the expert. So at some point, I realized I need to have my solo thing, because I want to keep or I want to keep my authority there as well. And
Right.
This is something that I thought, okay, I need to, and bringing guests, it's awesome, it's amazing, it's really nice, and we can get amazing shows with everything you need to make a great show. But the thing is, people were looking at me as the guy who does interviews.
Mm. Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And I think it really kind of ties into the whole Substack thing, because I've done a couple of the videos that I've done on Substack have been just me. And maybe I'm not talking as long, but I'm still interacting with the folks that maybe have joined. I've done that on other platforms before, but I think that's where Substack, I think, even in some ways, maybe fits that even better, as far as having that solo, if you want to call it video, whether it's live or recorded.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when to be honest, I don't remember when I first saw Substack. Do you remember?
Well, actually, I want to say it was, for me. I first heard about Substack and joined. Uh, I guess it's been a little over a year ago, and that was because I had uh, someone on the Tim and Jim show, as we were wrapping it up, where he was writing. He's like, "Oh, I write every day on Substack." I was like, "Oh," and so I started doing it. It's like, you know what? I need to write. So I was like, maybe this will get me started, because it was different than Medium. And so I would write, I'll say sporadically. There wasn't a rhythm to it. But then uh, what really brought it back into mind, I mean, I was following some people on Substack, and I'd get their, emails with their latest articles, was Ross Brand started talking about how he was going live on Substack. And of course, Ross Brand is one of those people that is kind of a legend in the podcasting and live streaming space. I was like, well, if Ross is doing this, I need to figure out what's going on here. And so at first it was more about, like, they first started out, you could go live on the app. And so, once I got, the ability to do that, I was like, okay, well, that's neat. But I still had, to me, it was still like being on Instagram Live. It wasn't necessarily something that fit my style, I guess. I mean, I can see some reasons to do it more of almost like as a, like even you, if you're out somewhere hiking, maybe you would go live as long as you got a good enough signal. You could use your phone and not have to worry about having all the studio stuff. But I think like what we're doing today is what intrigued me more because of the fact that, hey, I can have written content, I can have video content, I can host a podcast on it, we can put audio. So it's really that multimedia site that is your brand, even though it's, hosted by Substack, as opposed to, getting lost in the sea of the other platforms that it's not really your stuff in a sense. And I guess technically, could Substack go away? Yeah, but anything could go away if you really think about it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, um, I think Ross was the one that somehow put it Substack in the spotlight for me. I think I had an account, but
Hmm.
like don't think that you go there, you just look and okay, see you later. But the thing is, it has so many tools for creators. For instance, if we are not a writing person, and the thing is, I like to write, yes, but the thing is, my thing is video, not so if I have to, and we know that sometimes we are lazy, we are tired, so we need to be practical and get the most from the less, if you know what I mean. And the thing is, Substack has those tools within the platform, which is awesome. Wanna tell us your favorite ones?
Oh, I tell you, one of the things that I really like about Substack right now is I like notes.
Hmm.
Notes is similar in a sense to the feed or even to Twitter, the old Twitter. Um, you can yeah, right. Got to be sure we're clear there because you can share kind of some thoughts. You get engagement, um, and it gets engagement maybe from people that aren't a part of your audience yet. Um, I think that's one of the things I really like. Because it's a way to kind of catch up, have a conversation. People bring up interesting, uh, points and that can lead to growth of your if you want to call it of your community on Substack. Um, I like the live video aspect because the one thing you can do and that's where I tell people you kind of got a choice is you can go live, maybe get that engagement with people and even more so now that they allow you to schedule it, whether it's with the phone app or just even doing third party like you're doing. um, so you get and right, you're getting an email list. Your email subscribers, so to speak, can get notified. Where you can't do that with these other platforms, right? That's always been part of the challenge. And you actually have their email address. So when everybody always talks about, oh, you need to get people's emails, well, this is a way to do it. But when this is done, you have a choice now, Marco, right? You can say, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a blog post with the video attached. Or you can say, you know what? I'm not going to put it up there. That was the only people that get to see it were the people that were there live. Or you can even put this under a paywall where only your paid subscribers get to have this. So I think that is a very uh, unique aspect of it that, I don't necessarily know. I mean, okay, sure, you can go YouTube unlisted or private, but it's not the same. And I think the other thing, and Chris and I were talking about this, is that when you go live, I don't care any YouTube video. What are people really doing? They're there to watch the video. Are they actually reading your description? Are they really reading your show notes? And how many people are writing what they put in YouTube more trying to capture SEO search hits as opposed to I'm just going to write the way I speak. I'm going to tell you what this was about. And I think that's a huge mind shift, right? Like we're not sitting like, oh, we got to create this blog post out of this video that's going to, you know, do certain keywords and this. It's like, no, I'm going to tell people what this was about, what it was about. Now, sure, just like anything, you probably need to come up with a good title that's going to catch people's attention. But aside from that, it's not like you're sitting there and like saying, okay, well, the rules say I got to do this within the first, 200 characters, and I got to do this and I got to do that. That's not how it works. And so that's one of the things that I really like about how it's currently set up.
Absolutely. One of my favorite features is that when he gives me back those nuggets from the main content, for me it's amazing. And also but the thing is, let me share this funny thing. I have, and this is something that, and we can talk. We should talk about this as well. Is that you can have more than one publication? Is how they call it.
Yes.
This. So I have two. I have one in English, Marketing Live, and I have in Portuguese, o criador content, translated to English, the content creator. And content has that double meaning, like being content creation and also being happy. So the funny thing is, I have the content creator is in Portuguese. Okay, I've talked. Even though tomorrow I will have an episode, we will talk in Spanish because, and this is something that I mentioned in the zero episode, the pilot, that if I understand that the guest would bring value to my audience, it could be not non-Portuguese speaker. So the thing is, I have the content in Portuguese, and I go see the transcript because it does the transcript. It is in English. And I say, what the heck I will be doing with this?
Right.
But it's pretty nice because I'm sure, Jim, that you struggle with this maybe in the late 18s or 10s years, and also in the beginning of the 20s. But the thing is, because we were looking for transcription tools that could turn our long form videos into blog posts, whatever. And the thing is, they are there. You already have them. Are you using them?
I'm using it to a point, but I think what I'm doing then is kind of changing it to be more like this is what it was about. I'm not doing like read what we talked about, right? It's more like here's the highlights, here's the things that we did, and really putting it in my voice, if that makes sense. I think that's kind of that's where AI can help you some, but you still got to put things in your voice, or people are going to say, "Oh, that's not Jim, that's not Marco, that's just AI talking." So I think that's one of the things you got to be careful about. But I think the transcript though can also help you to say, "Oh yeah, I remember that's the moment. Maybe that's where I'm going to make a short video clip about this," or I can now go to that part because the transcript kind of jogged my memory. So I think that's a good good way to use the transcripts as well as with the repurposing.
Absolutely, and they I think usually they give me around 3 clips from the main content, which is nice too. But now I want to ask you, because I know that you already tried that feature. It's kind of new, those chats. Your thoughts on that?
I like the chats. I need to, I guess, if anything, maybe be more consistent in that it's a great way maybe for community discovery by asking things that get feedback from folks that say, oh, okay, there seems to be a lot of interest in this. This is maybe something where I can do an article or an episode, or find more information that I can turn into a resource on my on my Substack webpage for folks. So I think that's one of the things that I like about the chats. And then you can also take it a step further and that is using the direct messaging, right? So I was pleasantly surprised. Something I probably need to not need, but will start doing more of. But one of the people that I subscribed to their Substack, they sent me a direct message, kind of like, "Hey, thanks for subscribing." Asked me a couple questions, but it's like it's building that relationship, right? So whether you're a free subscriber or a paid subscriber, you're going to appreciate the fact that you can have that one-to-one dialogue with people in your community, and it doesn't all have to always be out in the public. So I think that's one of the things that I think the chats can lead to, kind of having that, hey, let's take this conversation between me and Marco a step further, where it's just a one-to-one conversation and not necessarily out there for all the world to see. Because maybe sometimes you want it to, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes, and I believe this happen. Like, I have a question for that creator, but the thing is, probably could be to make it in the public space. I don't want to look dumb, and we know this. We know this. We tend to be afraid of looking dumb. Uh, I don't. Yeah. The thing is, usually we tend to have this fear, and it's okay. So if we have this, how can I say, more enclosed privacy moment, private moment, I believe it's a nice thing for us to, and also having the chance to have. One of the things I like is to have options. Okay,
Right.
even though some of them we may not use them, or we don't use them that often, I think it's there. Okay,
Yes.
it's not there, it's not a weight. So we don't have to carry it on our shoulders. It's there, and if at some point we could get some good insight from there, up, that's awesome. And so that's why I believe that Substack is a really nice place, because it has, for instance, and I just realized this. Look how dumb I am. Shame on me. And
You're not
I'm
dumb, just
I'm
learning.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, this is a whole new process, and I'm always mentioning this. One of my, how can I say, one of the things that get me more excited is to optimize my workflow.
Mm.
I love the process, and how can I get more by doing less? I'm pretty lazy. Let me be honest. And I just realized the other day that, for instance, for my, I was doing recording episodes for my podcast, but now I'm doing them live. Probably I will record a couple of them. So, for instance, if there's one week I can't go live, I can upload the video, and there you go. Even though I know that if I don't do an episode, nobody will die. That's the thing. I'm not that important. But the thing is, I just realized the other day that you can, and this is nice. For instance, you can do the live show. Once the live show is done, it goes to the
The
oh my god,
drafts.
draft,
Yep.
and you can do a blog post, for instance. Okay, but it has also a little box inside that whole thing that asks you if you want to make that an episode from your podcast.
Hmm.
And the stupid thing about me was not doing this properly. I was doing the article as a podcast episode, so they were uh, just about podcast notes, my social media, and that's it. And then that little box has the same texts. But right now, thankfully, I just have 13 episodes, so I don't need to. It won't be something really huge. But the thing
Right.
is, now I'm rethinking this, and I'm gonna do for Substack, for the main thing. I'm gonna bring an article with the highlights. I've been talking about this, blah 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 blah, as a a normal blog post. And then for the podcast, just the show notes and the links, and that's it.
Okay.
And this is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's the other point too, is that I don't know, I guess because I'll say we're the newer kids on the block in the world of Substack. Um, I don't think you have to use video, right? But I like that you have that option, right? Like we're not here, at least me personally, I don't think you are either. I'm not here to do nothing but video on Substack. I see the value in that this is making me be more tactical and strategic. It's like, you know what? I need to write an article about this thing that maybe relates to video, but now it's not only am I writing about it, but you can also see what we do. So it's kind of like, as Peter likes to say, we're eating our own dog food. So you can see, like, okay, Marco and Jim go live on this platform or upload recorded video, and we see the level of the content professionalism, but they're also writing about it because maybe I'm someone that wants to consume things that way. That's what I think is really good about this platform.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and I mention this all the time, I'm not that kind of professional. I believe you are in the same wave, on the same page, whatever, because here in Portugal we could say in the same wave because we have amazing waves in the
Yeah,
sea.
I've seen those on YouTube.
So I'm not that kind of person that says that podcast is dead, video is dead, live streaming is dead, blog posting is dead, killing everything. It seems like we are the Terminator and whatever. So no, I believe that there's a place for everything, and we have Shannon Hernandez. Hello, Jim. Okay, she's not saying hello to me, so I won't reply. Hello, Shannon. Welcome. But that's the thing, and we should think about this as well. Again, back to options. If we already have the video, why we should not to do the hello? Okay, and now I'm happy. let me bring. I got a comment just for me. Someone knows my name.
That's right.
But the thing is, we should not, and the main work is already done, don't you think? Because the main content, it's already there, a video.
Right.
So why not including people that likes a good read by the end of the day? Why not? The video's there. We just need to do the not so. We don't need to make everything from the ground. It's already there. So, and also again, back to the thing I mentioned before, workflow. If we have in mind at the beginning, with this content, I'm gonna create a blog post. We will rethink the way of doing things, and we will have in mind the. I don't script my content. I don't know about you. Probably
Right.
you don't. I have bullet points usually, but I don't script. So with that, it's easier for us to create a blog post and then kind of cover more content preferences, if we can call it like that. Do you have that in mind as well?
Yeah, I would agree. I would rather have bullet points. Because I think the problem with scripting, and I found this in even creating short form video, is like then it seems like you're reading everything, right? It's not natural. But if I know, like, okay, I just got to make sure I hit these points, because I don't know about you, but when I speak, in public, whether it's on a stage or virtual, I'm not memorizing a speech. I've got maybe some, index cards that these are the points that I want to make sure I hit. Because depending on the audience and the way things are going, I may change it. So it's kind of that joke of, I don't know what I'm going to say until I start saying. So I'm with you. I'm not, the idea of memorizing a speech or memorizing a script is just not something that I think is natural. It kind of reminds you of school in learning is like they wanted us to memorize things. And how many of those things have we forgotten? Where when we were taught to solve problems, because we repeat that, we remember how to solve those problems in the future. So I think it's the same thing with content is, you and I both, if someone asked us, well, how do I go live on X, Y, or Z? We have enough repetitive doing it that we can just do it. I don't need to sit there and, oh, well, let me find my script about how to tell you to go live.
Let me my slide deck. Let me
Yes.
see it.
Right. Right. So now I don't know. Maybe when we get older, we need a slide deck, but
Probably.
I'm trying to stay away from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I don't know about you, but I had these requests. They not that much, but I had a couple of them, like videos promoting or a tool or an event. And we have a script like next whatever I'm gonna speak in the event XYZ about blah 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 blah. Join in. It takes me forever to record that.
Hmm. Hmm.
because because oh my god, I'm not used to this.
Right. Right.
And that's and the fact. And for me it has two good things. One, you don't look that mechanical.
Right.
And the thing, I don't know if you probably you already you saw this as well. When people they tend to memorize the speech, if at some point they get lost, they will start over from the point they got lost. So they will be repeating like the other people in the other side of the screen on the other side of the room. They okay, I got it in the first time. Why are
Right.
you repeating?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a challenge. Like it was funny when Ross one of the I think it was can't remember if it was volume 2 or volume 3 of the digital predictions. He's like, "I'd like you to do a video reading your chapter." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was hard because it was like, you had to have the words, you didn't want to look like you were reading it, and so it took a little bit of time as opposed to if I had just, maybe summarized what
Yep.
the chapter was about would have been different. So that's definitely like a different I don't know if maybe it's a different skill set, but it's not to me it's not natural, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Mm.
so that's what I like about like what we're doing here, right? This is natural. This is you and I having a conversation. Like you said, we can uh, do whatever we want with it when it's done. We don't even know what we're going to say, a minute from now.
Yeah.
So I think, but I think that is what that's to me the appeal of live streaming. The appeal of live streaming is we're not sitting there, saying, "Oh, wait, we got to redo it because you said this word wrong or that word wrong." It's like, no, this is us. I mean, even people talk about tools like Descript can take out the ums and ahs, but maybe it's okay, right? That's how you
Absolutely.
talk in person.
Yep.
So, you can train yourself. That's one of the things I learned in Toastmasters that a lot of times what ums and ahs are really, it's more a factor of vocal variety and understanding that it's okay to not say anything when you pause.
Hmm.
And I
Absolutely.
think that's what people don't realize because if they haven't done something like that, they feel like as they're gathering their thoughts, they're making a noise, is what they're really doing. But if you just pause and then you continue, that in itself has its own effect in dynamics, but that's not something that you necessarily learn overnight. And it still takes practice. I mean, I know, I screw that stuff up, but I also am at least cognizant of it. So even on a live stream, you have to think about, okay, am I staying in the conversation? Am I staying in the flow? And then, of course, the challenge, right? We've got these folks joining us, some people that we don't necessarily know yet, but thank you for joining us over on
Yeah.
Substack. And, but I think that's something that, 2 months ago, I don't think either one of us would have thought we'd have an audience on Substack, but I feel like the audience on Substack is growing. And I don't know, for me, I don't know about for you, Marco, I like the vibe. And maybe it's because it's the people that are coming to be a part of your Substack are there because they want to be. Not you're not being, I'm sure there'll be trolls, but just like the other platforms, you can block them,
Absolutely.
get rid of them. But I feel like it's a nice climate, and I'm good with it.
Absolutely. And by the way, for those of you watching us, feel free to make questions or just say hello, where I'm located, those kind of things. Feel free to talk with us because we are here for you. Jim, and okay, we are almost seeing the final line, and I want to cover as well one of the main advantages about Substack because as content creators, one of our main struggles is how we can get money from our work, our content, and Substack has that as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can start that, right from the beginning. I probably waited a little bit, but I've now set up even myself, right? You have what basically you have a subscription model is what they call it. But I've also been doing a lot of reading from a lot of other really smart Substackers that have been doing this for a while. So you can have, your free content, and then you can have what we call paid content for people that pay, and they can pay monthly, they can pay annually, they can pay. You can call it founding members, and you can give them all different benefits depending on how they do it. And so, what I like about that, and not that I've done it yet because of the number of people hasn't got to that point yet, but maybe it's something I even offer to free, is like you could say, once a month I'm going to do, we'll call it Zoom because maybe you want to let them come on, screen easy. You can have a Zoom in Substack, and that Zoom could be behind the paywall. And so they get to watch the Zoom, participate in the Zoom, and if they couldn't make it because it was in a draft, you can now repost it to your paid subscribers, and you can summarize, this is what we talked about. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them, right? So that's where you can help that community with, even just doing Zooms. Um, you can also, the thing we have problems with on other platforms, if you write an article and you put links in there, Substack's not going to punish you because you have links in your article. So maybe it's links to, the cameras that we're using. Maybe it's links to software, and right, you're going to disclose that maybe you're an affiliate like you did here at the beginning,
Mhm.
but you give people that opportunity that you can link them to other people's, sites or books or whatever you want to do. And and so now it's not like you're sitting there, it's like, oh well, gosh, I can't put a link in because now they're not going to show it to people. So that's where it's a website. What I like, and my friend Tanya Smith has done this. You can even, style your site to what makes sense for you. So some of her tabs have been like, one of the tabs is her, you want to call it normal website. So it's not like you have to like say, oh, it's all this or all that. So that's one of the
Mhm.
things that I'm trying to decide. What are some of the other tabs that I'm going to add to Substack? Because, to be transparent, and Chris Stone knows, I haven't updated my regular website in a while. And and then part of me is like, do I want to? Right? Because what I'm doing here, and because I'm active here, makes me more likely to, like, you know what? I'm going to keep this up to date because this is where I'm interacting, and you're getting interaction because the way you're, yes, you have your Substack, but you're also in this community where other people can easily find your stuff. And I love, to your point, that I can decide, I can have other publications that are not related to the other ones I've done. So now you can kind of like say, hey, I want to have a, maybe I want to have a publication about sports where I talk
Yep.
about different types of sports because it wouldn't make sense on my other publication, right? Because then that's kind of like, what is this about? So I think
Yep. Yep. Yep.
that's one of the benefits of well, and of course, because it does start, you can do this for free. Um, that's another one of those things that right now keeps it from, the barrier to entry is extremely low. The only barrier is you taking action.
Yeah, and there's something that it's nice as well, which is you have an affiliate program here. So, for
Hmm.
instance, if you recommend, for instance, you become my subscriber and you recommend to 1,000 people my Substack, and they will subscribe, you will get affiliate income from there as well, which is awesome because it's a nice incentivizing for you to work a little bit.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
No.
because usually if you share something from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, you don't get anything. There's no um,
Well, they
interest.
don't want you sending people off the platform. That's the problem. They want them to stay there, um, and yes, you can do it in YouTube, but it's still right. You've got to rely on them to go dig into the show notes and or the video notes and hope they click the link. And a lot of times, I think people are going to YouTube more for research and not always for a buying decision. You're like,
Yeah,
okay, I learned this. Now I'll go somewhere else, or I'll go to another site, or I'll go to the site directly because I think maybe they're going to get a better deal, or and sometimes influencers, right, have a bad rap for the wrong reasons as well.
yeah. Unfortunately, yes. Well, Jim. We are almost ending, but before that, if someone in the street asks you, Jim, why should I go to Substack? 3 reasons. What would you say?
Three reasons I would say. Number one is community. You can find people in a bunch of different areas that I think you'll find of interest. Two, it's early days, as I like to say. There's maybe, I don't know, we'll say from what I've seen, between 5 and 10 million people that are on Substack. So still lots of room for growth, and it is international, right? Because here we've got Marco from Portugal on it, so lots of room for growth. And third, I like the fact that it is as I guess I call it, it's a multimedia opportunity for you to put different types of content all under one roof in a much in an easy way. And I like the fact that it's obvious to me that the Substack founders are working to continue to improve the platform for the folks that are out there. They just haven't put it out there, and well, it does what it does. They are listening, and so hopefully we'll continue to see more features. But yeah, so if you're doing any sort of content, it makes sense to at least get your shingle, and then you can decide later if you want to do more. But you can at least start to follow people, and maybe that'll give you some ideas about what to do with your Substack.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Jim, where can people find you?
Well, since we're talking about Substack, you can go to jimfuhs, fuhs.substack.com. You can also look for the Real Dealcasters. That's where we have our show Dealcasters as well. And I would say LinkedIn is probably my favorite social platform if you want to connect over there as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure. Thank you so much also for those of you watching us. Shannon, a big shout out.
Yes, Shannon, he's awesome. Yeah. He's got a Substack too, so check out his Substack. He's in the
Okay, and the thing
radio
is,
industry.
my name is properly spelled. So thank you so much. By the way, if you understand Portuguese slash Spanish. Tomorrow I will be in my other publication on Substack, O Criador Content. I will be talking about, and this is a nice topic, and you should tune in because I will have a lady that does voice over, and she does voices, and so we will be talking about this microphone technique and all this kind of stuff, because I believe, and it's funny, this could be a nice topic for another conversation, how important the audio is and the voice is in multimedia content. So tomorrow, tune in. It will be, I think it's 9:30 Eastern, I think. So feel free. It's already scheduled. Okay, go there. You will see. Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you.
you next week. Till there, bye bye. Enjoy the rest of the day.